Hi, welcome to Healing Humanity. Today, I'm a little heavy today. My heart's heavy because um, it's hard to even it's hard to even put into words the things that I want to say right now. So I'm going to try to make it as brief as possible. I don't have any notes prepared tonight. I want to talk to you from directly from my heart. All of us are out here looking for purpose and for meaning and looking to um, a lot of people have gained control where they had none previously. And while that's an interesting new development for people over the last 10 years, maybe more, to my knowledge, it's been at least 10 years. With this power, there has been a lot of disturbing things happening. I'm not going to really go into detail right now, but I want to talk to you about being a social rebel, right? We're all looking to be that tough guy, the one that makes a difference, the one that um, makes the money, changes the world, changes our lives, changes the people that we love, to be part of something. I mean, shit, even members, you want to make the money, you want to be part of something, you want to have a family around you and you want to make a difference for the people that are suffering, that you are aware of that are suffering, the people that you care about that are suffering. But here's where that problem comes in with that social rebel mentality. It can be very good. It can be life changing. It can be world changing if it's done right. It's not being done right. Not at all. Not by men or women. You see, this is what started it for me. So, women have heard about this horrific site where men are drugging their wives and learning in this site how to um, sexually assault them while they are drugged. And some of them will bring in other people while the woman is unaware of what's going on and completely not alert to anything. So the women, justly so, are not happy. They're pissed. I don't blame them at all. And they're looking for that way to control it, way to stop it, way to make a difference, way to control the situations, to be that social rebel, to make sure that this doesn't happen anymore. Now, there are a lot of things that we can change in the world. We can't change people's um, desires, right? Their sexual desires we cannot change. That's been proven over and over again, where pedophiles have been, they've done lobotomies on them, they have done various different things, gave them various different drugs, and truly, at the end of the day, we are all attracted to whatever it is that we are attracted to. Probably born that way, if not born, certainly at some point in our path may have been trained that way. And that's what we're left with, right? And I say we, not me, but you know what I mean. Um, these people that are doing this, I think half the visitors to the site, because they're talking about 62 million visitors or whatever, and I have to stop and ponder, like, really, are they visiting the site to absorb the information and learn how to do this in their own lives, or are they just visiting the site perhaps several times a day or several times a week? So it's not as many as what we think it is, but even still, if it's just a few, it's too much. I get that, but even though, perhaps it could be people that are searching the site to see how to take it down or what to do about it. could be even women that are visiting there to see what the heck this all is. We can't say without any shadow of a doubt that there are 62 million men that are visiting this site to learn how to do this to their wives. We can't say that. What we can say is that this is disturbing. We can say that this needs to stop. We can say that there has to be a change in the world, right? Some sort of change in our mentality, in the way we treat one another, and in the way that we view interpersonal relationships. So I've been thinking about it all day because it really bothers me. Now, women are starting sites that are pretty harmful, honestly, and it's just a disaster waiting to happen. And I know people don't see it, but I can tell you from my experience that there are a lot of people that are off their rocker, and you might not be one of them, but your next door neighbor might be. You have to be very careful with the information that we share with others. When we start to play judge and jury, that's where we start to get into trouble. You know, I forget the names of the sites and I don't even want to. I honestly don't even want to share them because I think it's a really bad idea. Do I think that women should be treated this way? Absolutely not. Of course not. You know, there always has to be consent in any situation. You know, men, by the way, if this is something that turns you on, talk to your wife. Talk to your wife about it. Perhaps she won't mind if you give her a sleeping pill. Who knows? But you don't know unless you talk to her. But back to the sites. So I don't want to name the sites, but I can't even remember them even if I wanted to. But what bothers me is it reminds me of a situation when I was managing a community. There was about 350 homes, 300 to 350 homes, I think, in this one particular community. And there was a person that moved into the community. I don't know if he bought there or if he was renting. I don't remember the whole thing. It was a long time ago. And I was new in the position. And every time I went to the mail centers, there was 2 of them. And every time I went to these mail centers, there was a picture of this man and gave his history of the things that I think he had been convicted of pedophilia. But he had served his time. He was released and allowed to live where he was living. That all has to go through the parole board. It all had to go through a system, right? He went to jail, he paid his penance, and he got out. We as a community, between you and I and the world, do not have the right to be playing judge and jury. It's a dangerous game that you're playing, and it needs to stop. And men, same thing. I am very well aware, and I don't know the name of the sites. I'm not even going to go there. But I know that there are sites out there that are ranking women, talking about their sexuality, talking about their needs and what they want and how many people they've been with, and listing all kinds of things. Physical attributes, weaknesses, neediness, all kinds of things. That should be taken down immediately. Because the more that we play one group against another, the worse that this world is going to become. The only thing that's going to change is when we start coming together, both men and women, black and white, red and green, whatever. If we don't come together, it's only going to get worse. And I don't want to see that. You want to be a social rebel, do it so it actually makes a difference. Not so you're doing it out of hate, not so you're doing it out of revenge. Do it so you want to make a difference, to change the narrative, to show the world that things can be done differently out of kindness, out of respect, out of love, rather than hate, greed, anger, control. That's what got us to where we are right now. There are so many sinister plans for this world. And they are going on all around you. And I don't know whether you see them or not. Maybe you see them and you ignore them, or maybe you see them and you don't know what to do about them. I know I don't know what to do about them. But the more we fight one another, the more power the people have that are planning all of this sinisterness amongst the world, because they want us to fight. You know, just like when they started the Black Lives Matter movement. Yes, Black Lives Matter. Guess what? All lives matter, no matter what. And if you don't like that saying, it's because you were guided not to. You were trained by media not to. It's time to put the craziness aside. Anyway, getting back to the situation with this gentleman. He had paid his penance. He had, you know, done his jail time. He was out on the streets. He wasn't doing anything wrong. Was not being looked at for any kind of violence or situation about children. But because he was on the list of pedophiles that live in your area, people took it upon themselves to play judge and jury and pasted it all over the mail center. And every time I went in there, there his picture was. Now, I never met the man, but I went to bat for him because we did not have the right as a community to play judge and jury and to hold somebody accountable for longer than what they paid their penance for. Because if that's the case, you might as well just, you know, knock off every single person that ever committed a crime. Because that's what we're doing. Social justice and being a social rebel doesn't have anything to do with being so cruel to people, no matter what they've done. And I know that sounds terrible, because there's lots of things that people do that are really horrible things. I've been witness to them myself. But if somebody repents, changes their behavior, they ought to be given the chance to try to build a new life. And trust me, it's hard enough for them to build a new life anyway. There's no reason for us to make it even more difficult, especially if they're not doing anything wrong. If they're doing something wrong, that's a completely different story. But if they're trying to repent and trying to live a new life, they're never going to be able to do that if we keep holding people down, which is exactly what women are trying to do to men and what men are trying to do to women right now. We need to get back to the fruits of the Spirit, to treat one another with peace, love, respect, kindness, to walk in the world with a joyful attitude, to help one another, to actually help one another. You want to be a social rebel? Make a difference. Do something different than what has been done for thousands of years. Thousands. I just believe the more that we demonize one another for anything, the worse it's going to get. Nothing's going to get solved. We're going to be victims of people that have set up this hierarchical system that we are nowhere near. We are here. They are way up here. And we can't afford that. There's a time right now where we can make differences in this world, and some are, that don't include hate and harsher judgments than what are necessary. I would just encourage you to start rethinking how we treat each other, especially men and women right now, because we need to come together. We need that coerciveness to come together and to speak in the world as one. We don't need to be fighting against one another. We need to be fighting against the system that has put us in these positions. I hope it all makes sense. I'll leave it there. But really, if you want to be a social rebel, do it with love in your heart, not hate.